For over a year, Boston College was stuck.
One commitment in the class of 24. And in the span of 10 days, BC has gone from a joke on the recruiting trail to one of the hottest teams in college football.
You are Locked On Boston College, your daily podcast on the Boston College Eagles, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome. This is Locked On BC. Today's episode is brought to you by Birddogs. Go to birddogs.com/lockedoncollege, and when you enter promo code LockedOnCollege, they'll throw in a free custom Birddogs Yeti style tumbler with every order. So we have been, it was January of 2022 when Boston College football last landed their class of 24 commitment. Christian Zamore, who, yeah, nice to get a local kid. He's a brother of a kid on the team already. Hard to, it's exciting, but not that great. But then it was like you entered the tundra as teams left and right. You're getting teams getting commitments. You got a team like Georgia who's got 2 quarterbacks by now, and BC has nothing. It's quiet. The spring game enters. Kids enter to watch the team. Nothing. But I told you the start of June was going to be a major turning point for BC football recruiting, and I was right. And I will take my credit when credit is due. In the span of the last week or so, BC has landed 4 commitments. And this week, BC has elevated their recruitment with a trio of commitments that really have turned heads and have made things very impressive for the class of 24 and making this class not only solid and serviceable, but really good. So let's jump into it. I'm going to go with I'm not going to go chronologically here because folks here are going to want to know about the goodies. They're going to want to know about the top recruit in this group. And that, my friends, is Keonde Henry out of Lake Dallas in Texas. Now, why is Keonde Henry so exciting? Well, folks, he's a 4-star. I talked to 247's Mike Roach, who covers Texas recruiting. And I want to quote you a comment that he said on Keonde Henry. He said, I'm not sure how the in-state schools let this kid out of Texas. Keonde is a monster from a projection standpoint based off of pure athleticism. He's got the ability to be a dominant pass catcher on the outside. 4 stars. Offers from all over the place. He was visiting major programs in the ACC, the SEC, and in the Big 12. So how did BC get such a dominant wide receiver? A few things catch my eyeballs on this one. First of all, you have Darrell Wyatt, who, if he's not given a raise right now, needs to get one immediately, because this dude is killing it in the state of Texas. Wyatt has a history in the state of Texas. We talked about this on Monday's show. With working at Texas, the University of Texas, but now he's at BC. He brings in a trio of kids, and we're going to get to another one in a minute, believe me. And he lands BC's top wide receiver on their board. Keonde Henry is a game changer, folks. This is a guy you plug in day one, and you have an explosive game changer on your roster. This is a guy that Boston College is not supposed to get. This is a player that usually will go to a blue blood, but because of Darryl Wyatt, he ends up at BC. And I have to say, it's not just because of Wyatt. Wyatt is a very strong recruiter in Texas. But there was another piece I think that was important, and that's our buddy Zay Flowers. Zay was on campus this weekend, and I think it was, and they never told me specifically, but it was definitely because BC had a trio of really talented wide receivers on campus. What better way to recruit them than putting in a first-round draft pick out there to talk to him about that? And then that puts in their mind, oh, look, we could go to BC. Yeah, it's a great education, but look at Zay Flowers. There's a guy under-recruited. He's a first-round draft pick. We could do that. This is, BC can do it. They're talking about it. Yeah, they went 3-9, but they've got guys with experience that show me that I can go there and do the exact same thing. So this is big. Folks, BC has landed 3 4-star recruit. There may be other ones in there too. But the last 4 stars that BC has landed were 2 years ago with Drew Kendall, Sione Hala, and then the year before that was CJ Burton. They're rated a little higher than Keonde Henry. But he's a Texas kid. I love Texas football. And I will take a Texas football recruit over any other state any day of the week and twice on Sundays. They are bred. It's like you could put Texas football against a team like UMass, and they'd probably beat, like, some of those high schools could beat UMass. They're so good. And Lake Dallas is a very, very good school with a very, very good program. Keonde Henry is here. This is so impressive for everyone who has said, and believe me, you guys have said it too. I've seen it in the comment section. Jeff Hafley's done. He can't recruit to get guys here. AJ, you're crazy. Well, look what just happened. Hafley brought in a jewel of this class already, and he's not done yet. There's another 4-star running back from a program BC has a long history with coming in next week. There could be multiple 4 stars in this class. You're going to see a class that was just a week ago, like 90 something in the country. They're already up to 60th because they only have a handful of recruits. They could be jumping up big time. And in a moment, I'm going to get into some of the other recruits that BC landed. We'll get into my favorite name since Spiffy Evans and a wide receiver who's not getting enough love, but is very, very talented as well. You're going to want to hear my thoughts on all of that in a moment. But I want to tell you about my friends over at Birddogs. We're hitting the summer months. It's getting hot. It's getting sticky. I'm looking for shorts that fit well, make me look like a professional, but are also comfortable. And Birddogs just knocks it out of the park. They have stretch khaki shorts that are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and legs. They don't look like trash. They look perfect. They look like you're ready to go on a golf course, that you're ready to go to a nice restaurant if you're wearing dress shorts. But they're versatile. I could wear my Birddog shorts hiking, paddleboarding, working out. They're awesome. And they fit better than regular shorts because they're made of stiff restricting cotton because they're flexible. They fix this issue by inventing cloud knit fabric that looks like khaki but stretches so you get a way slimmer fit without having to sacrifice movement. So go to birddogs.com/lockedoncollege and enter promo code lockedoncollege for a free Yeti style tumbler with your order. That's birddogs.com/lockedoncollege for a free Yeti style tumbler. Look, folks, I've been wearing them all summer already. I'm gonna be living in these things. I'm gonna have to get a couple more pairs because I love them so much. You're gonna love them too. Go to birddogs.com/lockedoncollege today. This is Locked On BC, AJ Black, and we are talking recruiting. And for the first time in months, it's tangible news. It's not like AJ saying this and AJ saying that. But I'll tell you this. I put this out on Twitter. I got a lot of folks that doubt me. Say that I'm wearing my maroon and gold sunglasses too much. That I don't know what I'm talking about. That 3-9, Hafley's done. Whatever you want to say. What did I say about this month? I said Boston College would get 10 commitments. We are now June 14th, and they are at 5. Okay. And I have crystal balls in with at least 2 more, and they have 2 more weeks left of official visits. I also said BC would land a 4-star. Check that off. I also said BC would land multiple commitments at running back and wide receiver. Wide receiver, check that off, and I'm halfway there at running back. Folks, I gotta beat my chest when I can. I'm wrong a lot. I can tell you that. I'm wrong about my previews last year. This is making up for that. But let's get into the next player that committed to BC. And this one's, I think, as exciting as Keonde Henry. Henry's got that extra star, so I get why we kind of focus in on him. But Josiah Martin, he was the first to commit. And Martin is excited for a different reason. He's a high 3-star. He's from Texas. Again, we got Texas boys all over the place on this roster. I love it. I love that BC is saying, honestly, I kind of say, and I get into this in another episode, you know what? If the local kids don't want to recruit and the kids from Texas do, screw them. Go for Texas every day and Sunday. Do that over and over again because it's a different ball game down there. So Martin, he was down at Alabama. We said this on last week's episode. He was on Alabama for an unofficial visit. He's got the Nick Saban hat on in a picture he put up. He also really was high on TCU. But you know what he was higher on? Darrell Wyatt, BC's wide receiver coach. And he sealed the deal. He was the first commitment. He was the first one when I talked to my sources, I knew was going to commit. And he is a refined wide receiver, according to some people I've talked to who are scouting, polished. He gives BC another 6-foot solid wide receiver that has big time offers and will be at BC. Plays at a big time program too. So you've got now 2 wide receivers. You've got, when we're talking at the end of this recruiting class between Josiah Martin and Keandre Henry, and I'm guaranteeing there's going to be more wide receivers because BC's they're deep in with some really good names. BC should get consideration for one of the best wide receiver groups in the ACC after this year. And I'm sure Clemson will probably, Clemson's going to get it because they've landed some big time names. But after them, maybe it'll be BC that gets some, honorable consideration because they're doing an excellent job. Josiah Martin is a big name. And I think BC did an excellent job of getting him in. And I'll tell you folks, I talked to Josiah a bunch. And he got in, and his goal once he got in was to bring in the other guys. Trey Griffins, who is not committed yet, but we'll see what happens there. I know Oklahoma State's the team to beat there. And Keonde Henry. So Martin was behind the scenes going, guys, you got to come here. And he has been a vocal supporter. And you need those guys, guys that want you to come here, want you to play at Boston College. Martin's that dude. But again, we go back to Darrell Wyatt here. No longer is he a guy that, he gets some interest, but he's not going to close on any of these guys. He's nailed it twice now. And he's not done yet. I expect BC to land at least one more wide receiver. And it could be another Texas kid. I mentioned Trey Griffins. There's Heath McCree, who's another Texas wide receiver who's got really elite speed. There's Tyson Turner, who was here 2 weeks ago. There's options, and we'll have to see where BC goes with their last spot, who will come in, but come over to Eagle Insider, folks. I'm telling you right now, 60% off for the next day. It's $1 a week. Just you probably waste $1 a week doing God knows what, right? Go over to Eagle Insider. Just sign up. And you're going to get, I had predictions. I have a crystal ball out, and I'm not going to give it out on the show, for another offensive weapon that I think will be committing to BC soon. I have how things are breaking down. I know where BC's going. I know, I talk to the players. I get you everything for less than $1 a week. Get over there. Sign up right now. We also have a great community of BC fans on our board talking BC sports all the time. And I think you're going to love it. So go over to Eagle Insider, sign up. In our final segment, I want to talk about the last commitment, the third positional commitment that BC has landed. And I'll tell you why I'm excited about this and why I don't think this is the end at that position. We'll get into that in just a moment. This is Locked On BC. I am your host, AJ Black. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for making us your first listen every single day that we're on. And if you are an everydayer, again, thank you so much. And if this is your first time checking us out, welcome. We're the only Boston College podcast that talks about BC athletics every day. And not only are we the only podcast that does it every day, you're getting it with the Eagle Insider. I am the publisher of 247. We just had Jeff Hafley on this podcast last week, and we've had great comments about that episode. But I'm talking to the staff, I'm talking to players, I'm talking to recruits, I talk to everybody. And you're only going to find it here on Locked On BC. So make sure to subscribe and hit 5 stars wherever you get your podcasts. All right, folks. I'm so pumped. I have been churning out content for the last 3 days nonstop, because BC has been on such a tear. And that also happened on Tuesday afternoon, as my favorite name in this class committed to BC. And that, of course, is running back Turbo Richard. Turbo, if you blow up the picture that we have here up on YouTube with his visitor pass on it, it says Turbo Richard on it. Now, this is my opportunity to right my wrongs. So back in the day, my two favorite BC names, now Turbo Richard's up there, but the other one is Spiffy Evans. Spiffy doesn't like me, or he didn't like me back in the day, because I was very harsh on Frank Spaziani and he blocked me on Twitter. Fine. But now Turbo's here. Turbo is a running back, and I'm just going to keep calling him Turbo. I love it. Running back from South Carolina. Again, we're going down south, folks. He's 5'9", can run a 4, I think he said 4.4, but also can squat 500 pounds. That just shouts to me like a Maurice Jones-Drew. And if that's what you want to build your running backs like, I'm fine with that. Go for it. That sounds great. Now, he had offers from Wake Forest and a bunch of G5 schools, but he ran for over 2,000 yards last year. I think he had over 20 touchdowns as well. So this is a dude that it's not like you're taking a chance on a guy that hasn't produced or hasn't done anything. He's produced at the high school level at a very high level. He checked out BC for the first time on Saturday for his official visit, and that's all it took. Turbo was in. He got to check out Zay's with him in this picture right now. I think this is a great get for BC. Is it like a game-changing get? No. I'm not saying that, but he fits the role. He's built like Alex Broom. He has had success. He's from the South. I like this. I like this get for BC. Now, here's the thing I want you to know. I'm going to give you a little nugget here as we kind of wrap up our episode here on a Wednesday. This is not the only running back BC is going to land. I've been told that BC is not going to turn away any talent at this position, because there's so many good guys that they're looking at. Now, you may be asking, who are they looking at, right? So there's Jason Patterson from Florida, leading running back. He led the state, Florida, another big program, big state, in rushing yards last year. There is DeJuan Williams, a 4-star, from St. Francis Academy. Now, Now I get it. And I'm sure people are hesitant with St. Francis Academy. We remember CJ Burton, Darrell Robinson, Brian Sims. I mean, they've not had the best, Jamal Hood. They have not had the best success at St. Francis Academy in terms of keeping guys long-term, but they have KP Price. They have Drew Bowery right now. Could they go there again? He's coming next weekend. Tell you that right now. There's that guy. There's other running backs as well. BC is going to probably take 2 running backs for next class. There's going to be someone else next to Turbo. My guess, if I was a betting man, will be either Patterson or Williams, but there's Adam Muhammad, there's Bryson Donaldson, who was just here a couple weeks ago, and I'm sure there's probably a few other names that are going to pop up as well. But this is my last time to play it for you. Get over to Eagle Insider as well, because I have more details up there on everything. I've had so much VIP content. I hope you guys check that out. I want to go to the comment section because I see it blowing up right now. We've had a really live group here, so I want to make sure we talk about it. Max Podell asks, will having receivers like this help draw bigger name quarterbacks? I'll hang up and listen. I'd hope so. I had said, Max, this is a great question. Would getting these types of wide receivers open the door for bigger running quarterbacks? The first name, of course, I think of is Ryan Puglisi, who's committed to Georgia, who is a kid from Connecticut. I just don't see. From what I've heard, he's not going anywhere. But in the future, when you're looking at the class of 25, there's some kids that are potential targets that when you bring a room together like this, I think it's important that you get targets like that. Marty Party says hanging on to them is the key. Yeah, just win football games. No Meter Green says Half is killing it. No more wasting times on the scraps of the Northeast. Hit the South and hit it hard. There's plenty of talented players down there, and you got to find them. Yeah, I know a lot of folks are so focused on New England and Massachusetts, but it was a couple months ago I said this. I said, screw it. Don't even bother with Mass. If these players, and it's the coaches a lot that are talking to them up in the Northeast. If they don't want to play for Massachusetts, for BC, go somewhere else. Find these kids like Keonde Henry, and then make them beg to come here at that point. Honestly, I'm not joking. I think that's the way to go. No Meter Green says a star in the South is a 4-star in the Northeast every day of the week. Marty Price says, I think BC needs a bigger back to round out this position. Jason Patterson's bigger. I don't have DeJuan Williams in front of me. I think he's 6'2", so they're bigger. Football Fan says, AJ was right. Half won June. He has more commitments than Birdball had wins. I didn't believe his predictions. My bad. Hey, Football Fan, I'm learning to love you, man. I love your sense of humor. I'm enjoying. I take my comeuppance when it comes up. You can take yours when it comes up too. And then we'll end it here. So this is Locked On BC. I'm your host, AJ Black. We'll be back again on Friday for another episode. See you then.